welcome. Thank you for joining us. You are never leaving ever again. Enjoy. Alright, there's a... Holy crap, that was tedious. I can't believe that. That was so tedious. We don't need this here anymore. Let me just move this away. Oh, rabbits, am I right? Rabbits. Okay, so we want to tame another dog. I know there are dogs just outside. We want to tame another dog so we can breed them. So we want at least 2. Not that I ever want more than 2, I don't think. Alright, let's put that back there. We have a bit of pork. Alright, let's go get my bones. I do have bones. And that's a weird thing too. Like you tame dogs with bones, but then you feed them meat. Like, why would a dog become tame if you give it a bone? Wouldn't it become tame if you feed it meat? Like the dogs don't actually want bones. There's no meat on it. Why would bones tame a dog? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, let's just grab more things. Grab more things while we're here. Carrots, potatoes, and whatnot. Alright, just cause we're here. Wheat. You don't need to be there anymore. Alright, let's chuck all that away. Bones. And I suppose, in anticipation of finding a Liberian villager, just keep grabbing the sugarcane. Alright, great. So let's go find one of these dogs that hang out outside the walls, and we'll bring them in. The rabbits, they don't even jump in a straight line. They play hopscotch on the blocks. They jump from block to block. Why? Why? Okay, where's this dog? This dog was just here. Also, I should get some ink sacs from these guys. A squid harvester is relatively easy. You just kind of push them into a place where they just end up on land and they die. But then getting the squid to spawn in your harvester is not as easy. Hey, you should probably get out of the water before I try this. Can you like go that way? Can you go that way? Can you just get onto the land, please? Come onto the land. Come onto the land. Alright, come onto the land. What are you doing? What are you doing? Alright, I'm just gonna go. Alright, good, teleport. Yeah, dogs. They just get stuck in the water and are you sitting? What are you doing? Alright, stand up. Stand up. Dogs. Dogs are supposed to be useful. They're supposed to follow you around and protect you from hostile mobs. But their pathfinding is so iffy that they have to teleport every now and then. And they can still drown themselves. I have had that dog drown itself. It teleported under a bridge, got stuck under a block, and then drowned before I could find it. I could hear it drowning, and I didn't know where it was, and then it just died when I found it. So dogs can do that still. Again, like of all the things they need to fix, that's what they need to fix. And in a lot of games, there are dubious companions, right? But then most games, what they just do is they make the companions immortal, so the companions can't die. Just sit down, don't go anywhere. So they make it so the companions can't die, and that's how they get around the fact that AI is stupid, right? So the way to get around bad pathfinding is they would make the make the NPC immortal. So I really think tamed wolves in this game should be immortal. I mean, maybe they get knocked out. Maybe if they lose too much health, then they stop fighting for you. Then they just run away from hostile mobs and they stop being useful in combat. I mean, they can stop being useful, but I don't think they should die. And the reason I don't think they should die outright is because they can teleport underwater and drown themselves because they're that stupid. Right? They can just kind of walk up the cliff, fall off the cliff, walk up the cliff, fall off the cliff. Like, the AI is dumb enough to do stuff like that. And so when the AI is so dumb, then if you make it so that the AI can kill itself, then it's just super dumb. Whereas if you make it so that the AI, at worst, disables itself and stops being useful until you feed it some meat, then that's the solution, I think. Because, for example, in Fallout 4, which is actually a good game, in Fallout 4, your companions, again, like the pathfinding is suspicious and not that good. But they don't die unless you shoot them. If you shoot them in the head, then they die. But if someone else shoots them, they get disabled, and then you use a stim pack on them, and they come back up again. And so sometimes they fall off a rooftop, and they just kind of disable themselves. That happens. But then they'll, you can kind of revive them that way. They don't just die, and then you lose them forever. And it's like that because Bethesda understands that the companions or the AI in the game is just not that clever. The AI is not clever enough for you to be able to rely on them to take care of themselves. Like they can't take care of themselves properly. Every now and then they get themselves killed otherwise. And that's how they do it. And it's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong. I didn't get my compass again. There's really nothing wrong with having immortal companions in recognition of the fact that the AI is like it's compensating for bad AI. And in Minecraft, if you have your dogs follow you around as you go exploring, then really you're just gonna be sad because at some point they're gonna kill themselves because they're so stupid. And so nobody has their dogs follow them around all the time because they're useless like that, right? And so then what ends up happening is that Mojang put this mechanic into the game for no good reason. Because nobody ever uses that mechanic. Nobody ever uses a dog as an actual companion. So they went to all that trouble of making that mechanic in the game, of putting a companion animal into the game. And nobody uses them because you don't want them to just fall into a hole and die on you. So everybody just kind of leaves them sitting at home. And it's literally, I mean, so what I'm trying to say is that the half implemented mechanic is worse than a fully implemented mechanic because you spend all that trouble to make the dogs only for people to not use it because they're not reliable enough. So like you spend all that effort and then nothing really, like it doesn't actually contribute much to the game. Alright, so there's no jungle this way. There looks like a giant desert mountain that way. I'm not sure if we're ever gonna find a jungle then. That's a giant desert mountain, right? Let me just go this way a little bit. I mean, those are cold. That's a cold biome over there again. So I don't know if there's gonna be a jungle. A jungle is warm and wet, which this is not. This is a snow-capped mountain. Alright, so that's all spruce trees again. Maybe I have to go back across to the other side of the desert. Let me just go to the north a little bit. Maybe like loop back around to the north village. Alright, so now we have snow-capped mountains. Which is not what we want, unless we find some special animals over here. Ice? I guess we can... What can we do with ice that's useful? Is that an ocean again? Uh, that's our fortified village. Is it? Yeah, it is. Alright, so that's the village. That's the south village. We know about that. So beyond the south village is mountains. Snow-capped mountains. Alright. Let's keep that in mind. That's just a normal forest. This is a birch forest. Birch mountains and forest. And not jungle. I can see more pumpkins. Alright, there's a lot of mountains back here. Deserts to the east, mountains to the west. A lot of mountains to the west. Holy crap, there are a lot of mountains to the west. Why are there so many mountains and I am trying to get across this? Mountains also not that interesting. Just there's not a lot of resources here. That's in like it's. You see what I mean? I mean, in the jungle there's like resources. In the forest there's wood everywhere. There's kind of resources. Mountains not that much. Like it's just not that much to do here. Look at this. There's a lot of rock, and that's about it. Mountains. Not that interesting. there's no there's no resources except stone. Like all the valuable ores are underground, right? So where does that leave the mountains? I mean, it's yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, there's nothing special about the mountains at all. Okay, this is not jungle. Let's head back to the east, see if we can make our way back to the coast. Unless we're completely lost, in which case we... Whoa, hey, wow, almost found that one. Okay, there's the village, we haven't come that far. There's the village, and there's no jungle to be seen. Alright, let's go back to the coast and then walk along the coast. Try not to get lost. I guess the forest doesn't have much either. I mean, we're in the forest and there's not that many resources either. I mean, there's trees. Well, we're back to the No Man's Sky syndrome, aren't we? Like, the randomly generated worlds, there's a lot of it, but there's a lot of nothing. Like, you just walk through this randomly generated world and there's just nothing in it for you. I guess when you're underground and you're spelunking for valuables, you are confined to a cave system, and so it's not an unlimited environment for you to explore. Like you're confined to the caves in a way, so that limits where you can go. Whereas on the surface, it's just a whole lot of nothing. I mean, there's a whole lot of the same thing. Just a whole lot of the same old, same old. All right, are we back at the coast? All right, back to the east, and no jungle to be seen anywhere. No jungles. Hmm. So our next option is to go to the other side of the desert, or keep walking along the coastline at the desert. Let me just see what's over here. It's just another. Is it deep forest? Is it No, it's just another normal forest. We're not even playing large biomes, just normal sized biomes. A lot of holes in the ground and a bit of lava. Let's try not to fall into those. I Nope, nope, nope. Not what we want to find. Let me keep walking for a bit. There's a lot of horses. And then we're back in spruce territory, which is not jungle territory. Alright, well, this is not helpful. Do you think if we keep following this coastline, it'll eventually loop back to the desert? It's possible, right? I don't know how much further I should go with this because one, it's not that interesting, and two, we'll get lost eventually. I should have got my compass. Just want to see what's over this hill. Uh, the same trees and not jungle. Okay.